Hi folks, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Brad, we like to expose, fabrications or lies on our channel. We like to give the truth to the people.
Exactly,
So
Bob.
today we're going to talk about the big lie about flat feet and custom arch supports.
Sure.
So, and if you are new to our channel, by the way,
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Wow, why not?
We got a subscription button over here or down here. We provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day.
Very good.
All right, I did a lot of work on this one, Brad.
Okay.
I looked up a lot of studies, and first off, I found out that arch supports are very helpful for people who have flat feet. Let's show what a flat foot is.
Okay. So, be careful. This is my foot, so just be prepared. Yeah, Bob. As well as, when you get over 50, your feet do nothing but get worse. They look terrible, Bob.
So we're talking about really a flexible flat foot, basically.
Sure.
Is what we're talking about. Because there's some people that are born, Brad, where the bone is actually down there, and there's never an arch there.
Mm-hmm. Right. They're flat when they put their foot
almost like
down.
a club foot. But in Brad's case here, he's got a really good arch when he's just putting his foot up on here. But when he puts some weight on it, you can see the arch goes down a little bit.
Right.
He still has a good arch. He doesn't have a flat foot. A flat foot would go all the way down. You couldn't even get a finger underneath there.
Right. It'll flatten right out.
The problem with the flat foot is that it affects everything up the chain. It affects ankle, knee, kneecap.
Can we show the rotation of that, Bob?
Oh, yeah, I can. Yeah, exactly.
If you look at the tibia line right there, and now just watch what happens with that. If you focus right on that, you got that, Lonnie? Now, when I flatten,
Yeah, the tibia internally rotates.
you can't see it, but it is, you can see it, but it's not really obvious unless you're looking for it, but it rotates in, and so your bone rotates this way, which changes the mechanics of the knee slightly.
Yeah, and that can often result in like patellofemoral syndrome. So yeah, I looked up some studies, Brad. And arch supports, they found out that they were very helpful when it comes to patellofemoral pain, which is up here. Medial knee arthritis, which is right there. We'll go over some of these later too, Brad. Actually, what I was surprised is lower extremity groin pain. So you have a child that is having leg pain and they have flat feet. They actually corrected on some of these kids and the pain got better.
By putting a support in their shoe.
Yeah, surprisingly so.
Okay.
Foot pain, back pain, plantar fasciitis. But what I did not find, or what is the big lie here, Brad, is that the big lie is that you have to have a custom orthotic.
Right.
What we found is that the prefabricated ones or the ready-made ones, the ones that are off the shelf, they were just as effective as the orthotics that were made.
But you just can't grab anyone off the shelf because there are different varieties. I was just in the shoe store last night, and they have a whole shelf full of different arch supports. We got 3 right here. We'll get into that.
But if you look at the difference in cost, Brad, I mean, and funny, one of the quotes I read, Brad, was if you want to, it doesn't bother you to spend $300 to $350 on a custom orthotic versus $30 to $60. Then go ahead, But otherwise, if you're, cost conscious,
right?
And you think about how many of these you could try, and see if they work before you spend $350.
Exactly.
And has it been your experience, Brad? And it's been mine, definitely. I've had people who come in, we've seen them for a foot issue, and they've had custom-made ones, and they're not even wearing them.
Right, exactly. Particularly the ones that are rigid, hard ones, which I never understood anyways. But yeah, they say I've got the $300, and I've worn them for a week. They don't feel well, so they're in my so. And
sometimes I've even had them give them one off the shelf that they like that one.
Right.
So
right.
To me, unfortunately, I think it is a moneymaker for a lot of organizations.
Right.
And
the podiatrists out there screaming at us.
Yeah, I know, but read the studies. So, all right, Brad, why don't we show some of the arch supports here that are off the shelf?
You
here.
bet.
So, you want to talk or you want me to talk? So this is just a real thin one that really isn't doing anything, is it?
Right, and it actually, it says right on here, it says comfort insoles. If you need just a little cushion in your feet, but it's flat, it's just like,
that's not going to provide any arch support. This is probably for someone who's on their feet all day and just wants a little bit of support.
right, and even that is pretty thin. I would get a little bit more beefy one,
Yeah,
or
hard
double
to
it
believe
up.
that does much of anything.
But
does it?
again, it's $11. You're not paying much for it. And maybe that's all you need is something in there to absorb some sweat for foot odor. So, that's available, but it's not going to do anything for any
Sure.
support. Let's go to the next step up. Now, are you zoomed in, Lonnie? So this one is, as an arch support, it does have, you can feel it right here where your arch is.
That's still a fairly soft material, isn't it?
Right, this is cushiony. You can squeeze it with your finger, but it's not hard, but it's not real soft either. It's not like a real light material. And under the heel, you can tell there's some beef there. There's some cushion, which can be helpful. A couple things that does is it's a cushion, so when you walk, it takes up some energy.
Some of the stress.
Right,
Yeah.
through your joints. But the other thing that a lot of people aren't aware of, when you raise up your heel a little bit, it puts a little slack
On the Achilles tendon.
on Achilles tendon. So
Yeah.
if you have Achilles problem or you have problems in your calf muscle, by putting a heel wedge or an arch support that has a heel riser in it, takes stress off the Achilles and the calf muscle group.
And this might help somebody with the growing pains too.
Right.
With a kid, just a softer arch support like that.
Exactly. And I went to a
So,
course.
how much is that? Do you know how much?
Yeah, let's take a look at this. Is a Spenco, and this one's $20.
Sure.
So it's not a big ticket item. This is one of those things, if you bought them and you wore them and you didn't like them,
Right.
you're not out $300.
Right, exactly.
Actually, I used to wear these all the time running. I'd buy my running
I
shoes
did too.
and I'd put these in right away that was when I ran on it. I was a heel toe
Same with me,
striker.
and I went away from them too, Brad, because I don't need them anymore.
Right,
but-
because both of us switched to forefoot running versus heel toe striking. But
Yeah.
for walking, these could be very good too.
Right.
Bob, I just wanted to step back to that part about why the growing pain got better with arch supports. And I'm really thinking it must have to do with when you flatten that foot, the whole leg internally rotates slightly.
yeah.
So every time you step, you get a little bit of this, a little bit
Right.
of this. And after a few hundred, 1,000 steps, it all adds
It's
up.
torquing.
Right. So when you stabilize that and you get the foot in the sagittal plane again, by using that arch support. Now, you want to go to the next one?
Yeah, sure. Let's show the rigid one here.
Okay. Actually, this is a semi-rigid.
Semi-rigid.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
It is. And if you can feel this, it feels rigid, but if you push on it, here, let's put it right
So,
here.
Is there like some plastic in there?
Yeah, I don't know what the material is. It's a plastic or some kind of a plasticky foam, but see how that actually fits? This actually feels good.
Yeah, that actually fits you well.
Yep. But if I push on here, it gives.
A slight amount, but
right.
it's going to hold.
So it's called semi-rigid. Now the rigid ones, I've seen them, they're solid, hard plastic, and they don't give at all. And I don't quite understand that concept, but anyways, I know they sell them.
They've kind of moved away from them
Yeah.
to some extent. So
Yep. So you can see that this feels good, and I'll do this in the store. I'll take them out and I'll put my foot. I'll have my socks on and I'll put my foot on there just to get a general feel. If it's like, oh, that feels good there, then I'll put it in the shoe. The problem with putting these in the shoe is they make one size, like this one. Let's see. It'll tell you on the box what size shoe it's
and
for.
you have to cut them down a lot of times.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, Brad, can we show some of the things you might use an arch support for?
Sure, you
Let's
bet.
go.
Good
Can you put
idea.
your foot up there.
Some diagnoses.
Yeah. So let's start off with, let's just looking at the foot here. If you got Achilles tendonitis, you're going to have pain right here.
Yep.
The studies have shown that arch support will often help that. If you have posterior tibial tendonitis, so that would be pain coming around the inner heel like this and attaches right here. That might give you some relief. If you have, we're going to have to show the bottom of you. Well, let's show one over here, Brad. If you have shin splints, so you're going to get pain right along this bone right here, it might be helpful. Or you might have pain over here on the outside. Yeah.
Right on the muscle. It's an anterior shin splint.
If you got plantar fasciitis, you're going to have to sit down for this one, Brad, or put your foot up. I got to show the bottom of the foot. So that's
How
going to be
about that?
right here. That's where it's going to give you
Ooh,
trouble.
that tickles, Bob.
If you're going up to the knee now.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of embarrassed showing my legs, Bob.
So if you got knee pain on the medial side here, which often means that you're knock-kneed, this will often help with that.
Right.
If you have a general pain all the way around the patella or the kneecap, and you have patellofemoral syndrome, this is something that quite often you want to correct. So I had to look at our time, what we have left. It looks like we're doing fine, Brad. I think, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think we've covered it
Got
well.
you all marked up.
Yeah,
So-
now what's my wife going to say?
So, well, what would she say? By the way, Brad and I can fix just about anything.
Oh, yeah. Except for, look at this, Bob.
Oh, you got the heart there.
You can pull a big one
I'm
on
gonna
there,
put
too.
a big one up, too.
But look at that.
Yeah.
Heart. But we're working on it.
We're working on it.